Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. On behalf of the Board of Education, welcome to our meeting this evening. We would like the audience to know that this meeting is being recorded. The recording will be available shortly. We would also like you to know that if you have questions or concerns, that we strongly encourage you to utilize the Honeoye Central School chain of contact. This will ensure that topics that are of importance to you are directed to the appropriate person and can be looked into in a timely and efficient manner. Before we proceed, please make sure that your cell phones and devices are set to silent or off so that we may conduct business without disruption. Jen, is there anyone signed up to speak during public expression tonight? Okay, we have 2 people. Public expression will not exceed 30 minutes. Each speaker has no more than 5 minutes and will be given a 1-minute notice if needed. Once you are called to the podium, please utilize the microphone and state your name and address. Please know that personal comments about or directed at a student or students, specific school personnel, a member or members of the Board of Education, or a community member or members will not be tolerated. Doing so will terminate any remaining time that you have left. We encourage communication and value input from Honeoye Central stakeholders. However, we will not respond at this time. Items brought to the attention of the board may be taken under consideration for future response or inquiry. Thank you for your interest in speaking this evening.
Can you hear me? All right. Welcome. I just wanted to do this in person, just so that I'd being full transparency for the community and have it on recording. Superintendent Fluke, Business Office Official Valise, District Clerk Green, board members, teachers, and staff. I am formally resigning from my position at the Honeoye Central School Board effective July 21st. This decision comes as a result of my move out of the school district, and I can no longer legally continue to serve in this capacity. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude for the incredible opportunities that have shaped my professional and personal growth over the past 4 years. It has been a privilege to work alongside such dedicated educators and staff. I'm sincerely grateful for the support and camaraderie that I have experienced. I take with me the valuable lessons learned in the strong relationships formed within this wonderful community, and I will always cherish the memory of our shared successes and the commitment to our students' education and development. I thank you for once again for the support and the encouragement for my time here, and I wish for the continued success to all the members of the Honeoye Central community. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
Good evening. Randy Yale, 9371 Big Tree Road. I'm a 25-year resident of this community, 23-year employee of this community. Over those 23 years, I've been 17 years, I believe going on 17 years as a varsity coach in one sport or another. So I'm actually here to talk about coaches today. And I had an interest, 17 years, I've been reappointed, and I've been reappointed. And it got me to thinking as to what is our policy? How do we go about determining who gets reappointed, who does not get appointed? And I'm wondering, and I don't know, can I ask questions and someone answer questions back? Or, I mean, how do we determine who gets appointed and not reappointed? Is that something someone can answer or not today?
We will take your questions and happy to respond at a later time.
Okay,
Yes,
all right.
yes. I'll
So-
write down what you say.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay. So really, I'm interested in, how does someone get reappointed? Is it because I'm a teacher and I sign up, so I just get reappointed? Am I evaluated? Do you have a metric, a rubric, a checklist, anything that comes around and says, hey, Randy's doing a nice job of coaching, or hey, you know what? Randy needs some improvement in these areas. So I'm wondering what something like that might look like. I wanted to ask, using myself an example of if you had an evaluation tool, what it was. I saw that last month and I got all the paperwork in the mail that I was reappointed. And I'm interested in knowing how it was that I was reappointed. Who came and observed me? Who saw me? By whose suggestion or, input did we listen to? So I was wondering that. Then the other part I want to talk about is, obviously we all wear many hats here. I'm as I said, a community member. I'm a teacher. I'm a coach. I'm a parent of 2 alumni from Honey Island Central School. So I'm actually also here to talk about, because we also hear, and we've been, afforded information that the varsity baseball coaches here may not be reappointed. And I did want to address that. And not only the varsity baseball coach, but the varsity baseball coach and his staff. Speaking on them, you have probably the most knowledgeable baseball staff in almost all Section 5. The people that take that field have, speaking of Mitch and Ed, years and years of experience and knowledge beyond what most people in Section 5 have done. Speaking on Max's behalf, again, a player here, a college athlete, and several years here now coaching the program. And it would be a shame for this staff to not be brought back to help our kids, for our student athletes. If you want, and again, not knowing what evaluation tool we look at or how we determine this, if we look at team success, the varsity baseball team has 2 years in a row of being undefeated in the league. They've had player success, several players over the last couple of years being nominated two in a row as Finger Lakes West Player of the Year. Several players Finger Lakes West first team, several players Finger Lakes West second team, several players on Finger Lakes West not honorable mention. I believe, and we could go back to the Bulldog Bulletin that was just sent out, I believe 7 of our players got recognized, as well as our coach. And when I say our coach, it's not just Max. Anyone who coaches realizes that it's the whole staff that earns that award. And so they've earned that award this year. They earned that award last year. And they earned that award as a Class C1 coach last year as well. So we've had team success, we've had player success, we've had coaching success. So I struggle to hear, and I could be wrong, maybe it's not the truth, but I struggle to understand how we would want to do with a program like that. It seems like that is the kind of program that has been successful and has done well for our kids. And I guess another question that I would like answered at the end, if not reappointed, and actually, because I'm asking, I was appointed, why? And I'd like to know if that's information that you will share. I'll use myself an example. If you didn't reappoint me, I would appreciate someone coming to me and saying, hey, Randy, you know what? These are the things you need to improve on. These are the things you need to do better at. Here's where you made some mistakes. So I would like to just, address that is if someone is not appointed or I think they deserve to know why. With that being said, I would refer to, okay. I would just appreciate if we could refer to the person that we hired, probably the only person that really is involved with the athletics on the most part, and that would be our athletic director. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, we will move on to kudos. Does anybody have any of those? Jerry?
Just one.
Okay.
The July 2025 Bulldog beat extremely informative. It's nice to get something over the summer, pretty much summarizing what has happened in the winter and spring. It was a nice read, very well done. So I give a nice congratulations to all those who had input on it and producing it. A great article. Thank you.
Anybody else? I have, two actually. First, I'd like to say thank you to Megan, for running the July 8th meeting, and to the Board of Education for entrusting me in the role of president again this year. Thank you for trusting me to do that. It means a lot. And also to Cindy, I would like to say thank you for serving with us. It was wonderful to get to know you, to consider you a friend now. As always, if you need something, please reach out. But it was wonderful to serve with you, and I'd like to thank you for your service to the school and community. Okay, now we will move on to public hearings. So I will turn it over to Superintendent Fluke for this.
Okay, so our first guest presenter today is here to talk to you about portions of our emergency response plan that can be shared with the public, as well as to update us on what a 30-day public comment period is. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Lieutenant Green to the podium.
Hi, Lieutenant Green, Ontario County Sheriff's Department. I was asked to review the safety plan this year. I did so. We made some minor adjustments on just some staffing changes and stuff like that. The biggest change was the public view plan, which the previous plan redacted the evacuation sites, which was appropriate, but it didn't redact our responses to incidents here at the school. So anything that could be a threat to the school that gives a response, or how the schools respond, that was redacted, which it should have been redacted. So it does begin the 30-day public hearing. Probably if people, read the plan last year and then see it this year, they might notice the redaction, and the redaction was done obviously to protect the school, our safety procedures, and just not to give, somebody, if they want to do harm to the school, to kind of give them a heads up of what we're going to do, predict what we're going to do. So, so those were the changes. Any questions?
If someone goes in and looks at last year's meeting, they can look up this plan.
I don't know if the plan is, the old plan is taken down. Certainly if somebody downloaded it, they'll have the
Well,
plan.
let's put it this way. I looked at it today and it's still there.
Okay.
And you're right, there's only a small redaction and that's it. So maybe that should be taken down because it gives a lot of the information that was redacted in this public plan.
Okay. Jerry or Jen, can you make a note? We will put the a redacted version of the plan up for last year. Or at minimum, remove what's there.
Right.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I'll certainly be available for questions should something come up. Superintendent can reach out. I've been, in close contact with your new coming SRO, so brought him up on speed of the plan and stuff. So we're in good shape.
All right. And I just want to say thank you to Lieutenant Green for being available throughout the year. Since I've even as elementary principal, he's always been available to come in, offer presentations to staff, and is there anytime we have questions. So thank you very much for that. As Lieutenant Green mentioned, we will be introducing our new school resource officer who will be here on September, at our September 17th meeting, so Deputy Jacobs. He's also going to be joining us the week of August 24th, so he will be here that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. He will be joining us at the Welcome Back Bash, so if you see him floating around, please introduce yourselves. Okay, thank you, Lieutenant Green. Okay, next up, we will be reviewing the recommended changes to our code of conduct, which is available on board docs for anybody at home who would like to follow along or to take a look at their notes. So all recommended changes were made in collaboration with our staff and all the members of the leadership team. So tonight, I'm going to highlight just a few of the bigger changes. As with the emergency response plan, there is that 30-day public comment period. So anybody can call with questions, can make recommended suggestions, and so on. So the code of, if you look right off the bat on page 2, there you'll see the table of contents. That's a new add to our code of conduct. The previous versions did not have a table of contents. We've also made some updates to the definitions section. Specifically, we're recommending the removal of both dangerous weapon and deadly weapon, and instead using the single term weapon, so which aligns with what most districts are doing in the region. Additionally, we've updated the definitions of gender, gender identity, sexual orientation, and violent student to reflect the language used in education law. And you'll notice that is stated there at the end of the definition. Okay. There are some additional minor changes with wording on pages 7 and 8. And moving on to page 12, you'll see the addition of a brand new section titled Student Use of Internet-Enabled Devices. So we had kind of toggled back and forth between adding that to another section, but instead we landed on creating a whole new section. This section was developed in alignment with the current law. You'll see section C outlines Honeoye-specific consequences for violations. Okay, so that's all there in the code. And then next up is the section we spent the most time discussing, the student dress code. So that's found on pages 14 through 15. So we're hopeful that the updated language will make expectations more understandable, more clear for students. So there's now 3 clearly defined sections labeled what students can wear, may wear, and cannot wear. So we gave some specific examples, so this will be more clear for students, for families, for teachers, when making decisions about student dress. And then lastly, there's a section on plagiarism that we updated on page 20 with the new AI coming down the pipeline. Okay, so those are all the recommended changes I'm reviewing tonight. But again, please look this over. Anybody at home, please look your plan over. Again, it's on board docs. If you need a version, you could always give the office a call. But if you have any questions or recommendations, please let us know. Hoping to adopt the new code at our September board meeting. Okay. Any specific questions before turning it back over to Tori for committee reports? Jerry?
I have one on student dress code, and it says all students must wear a number 1 shirt/top adequately covering chest and the majority of the abdomen. Who decides what majority is? Is it the principal? Is it the teacher? Because, I mean, you would think that's a simple term, but I'm sure that's going to be played around with.
So what our idea there is there are some shirts now, very popular shirts that come right down to the top of your jeans or pants, whatever you're wearing. Okay. When you stretch or do this, there may be parts of your abdomen that are uncovered for that moment while you're moving. So we made that flexible. But I can certainly make a note of that if you think maybe we need to relook to be more specific there.
Well, I just want to make sure that people understand who's going to make that decision. Is it the classroom teacher?
It's the classroom teacher making the recommendation, but it'll be the principals deciding whether or not, in collaboration with the teacher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else? We do want to be consistent, so that's part of the principal's opening day staff meeting where they will also review the plan because the 30-day period will still be in effect. So that will be clearly identified with all staff what that means. Okay. All right.
All right, moving along then, we will have the Board of Education committee reports and updates. Jermaine, do you have one on policy meeting?
Not really. I don't know. We had a meeting as much as that's right. We were, sorry. We did have a meeting working on the cell phone policy,
Yeah.
which we just discussed in the code of conduct, I think. And that's it. I don't think there was anything else.
Okay, just wanted to make sure it was on record.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. And then, facilities met the same day. It was July 14th. We got to meet with Lee from Play by Design out of Ithaca, New York. Lee was actually part of the playground that we have right now, when he worked for Leathers. Very interesting getting to speak with him and listen to his presentation. They actually are a company now that does community builds. So a lot of times on Facebook recently, there's been, we helped build the last playground. Why can't we help this time? And when we were working with SWBR and talking with Joe and Kasorik, it was always, we couldn't involve the community because it would be a liability. Well, this company would actually let the community participate, which is pretty outstanding and something that I think that this community thrives at, is being part of the whole, and should be very exciting for the community. There's actually going to be a meeting. I know that Superintendent Fluke will discuss it more in a little bit, but there's a meeting August 20th from 6 to 7:30 in the auditorium, in which more conversation will be had about this, about the opportunities for the community, and the direction that we hope to see this project move in. So I don't know, I'm looking forward to it. It's exciting to see something with the capital improvement project, like finally, and this is a big thing and a good thing to kick this off with, I think. So I'm excited for that. Does anybody else have anything for those? Jerry?
I have a question concerning the playground. If we find we don't have enough money to build the playground that we want, okay, can we build it so that we can add on to it in the future? Maybe with the next CIP, because I'd love to have the playground that everybody else talks about.
So that was actually talked about. That is a possibility. I have two of the things that they handed out that I would be happy to move around to each of you, but you'll notice in the front picture, there's towers. They can make a playground that looks like our playground with the towers that everybody always talks about. So just so you know, there's a lot of flexibility. They definitely want to work with us. They want to hear what the community has to say, but I'll let Superintendent Fluke cover all the nitty gritty details because there's quite a few, but I'm excited for this. So anything else?
I was wondering, oh, wait, did you have something else? Also, in the event that we fall short on funds, I don't know if I've asked already, is a fundraiser, like a community fundraiser or that sort of thing, an option?
I believe that's part of it as well.
Thanks.
All right, and now I will turn it over to Superintendent Fluke again for the superintendent report.
Okay, I'm going to start with highlights. As of last week, driver's education has officially concluded. So first time we've had that. All enrolled students successfully completed the program and received their certificates. So kudos to Nate for getting that set up. Please note, we're still on the list seeking additional instructors, but we're pleased to share that this year's instructor is willing to run the program again next year. We would just like to have more than one session. So we are on the hunt. If anybody knows anybody willing to teach driver's ed, please send them our way. But it was very successful. So thank you to those who supported that for our district. Also wanted to mention the foreign language program. So I'm Honeoye was identified as a medallion school, so you can see the criteria here, but it's for our participation in hosting international exchange students. So thank you to our board and for the school community for supporting experiences that leave a lasting impact both here and abroad. Since Mr. Schneckenberger has been on board, and probably prior to this, but that's around the same time I was here, we've had hosted students from Spain, Italy, Thailand, Norway, Pakistan, and this year now Turkey. So we already have a student on board joining us this coming year. All right, and you could take a look here at our most recent renovations. This is the counseling suite. So I don't know if you've been near or in the counseling suite lately, but here's, you can see some of our maintenance team. They added a window now as students enter the counseling suite. So here's what it looked like before. So you can see the top 3 photos where they had, it was just a wall there. And then you could see they actually took the wall out and then they rebuilt a wall with that open window. So here's the after pictures. So see that open window. So now as students enter the counseling suite, they can get checked in. They can greet, the counseling secretary will be greeting them. And and there's no wall at all. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, that window is new. Yes, it is. Okay. Okay, so that is the latest update. This was just completed as of today. So maybe they did take it down, but I saw it mid, so I didn't go by for the final product. Okay, so moving on to updates. The HCS UPK plan is hopefully being approved this evening, so that's the first part of the plan. Also, we have the first read of our cell phone policy, which was developed with our leadership team. It was reviewed with the board of policy committee. Hopefully, the board has had a chance to do their first read. But again, we're cell phone policy, or what the formal term, the students and personal electronic devices policy. Okay, so once that is approved, our cell phone plan, different than the policy, but our cell phone plan, which outlines our procedures, will be shared with families, it will be shared with staff and community, or via Parent Square, hopefully tomorrow. So, or as soon as the board approves that. So we've also created a family-friendly version, which will be posted on the website. So there'll be a family-friendly version, and then there will be a more formal version sent out by both the high school principal and the elementary principal. I'd also like to take a minute to thank all the parents that came to our informational meeting. They participated in the family forum that we offered in July in the evening to offer feedback and suggestions towards that plan. So thank you to those folks who were able to join us for that. You'll notice some of our plan, those who were at that meeting, you'll see that the suggestions that were made by the parents at that meeting are in fact a part of that plan. So we did in fact hear the parents, and we changed even the storage device that we were originally going to use to store 6 through 12 devices. We kind of changed gears based on a suggestion from a parent. So again, thank you to that. All right, next up is our logo. So one of our goals is to unify the District Bulldog logo. You'll notice that this year we did a lot of that. You'll see this logo has been utilized, but what we'd like to do is make this uniform across the board. So the goal for the timing of this update to the district logo is to bring all the organizations, clubs, and teams together in time for this school year so that all of our logos look like this. Okay, so along with that are the colors and the font that would go along with that. So you were able to see, the board members were able to see kind of the background behind why it's important to have a uniform logo, but that'll be shared out tomorrow with staff as well. So if the board has any questions, please let me know. All right. Very good. Next up, a quick timeline regarding our capital improvement project. So we're still in the SED approval phase. That's where we are now. A lot of things are getting approved. We're getting emails every day about sections of the plan that are being approved. So bidding is set to take place October and November, and then we get to the exciting part in the spring and summer of next year, the part we're all waiting for. All right, as a reminder, our architect and construction manager will be joining us at the September 17th meeting to provide a more specific update. Okay, and then I wanted to talk about the community playground, that the build. So a community playground build has presented itself as an option for us to utilize with our community. We're really excited about this. This is something the community has asked for. We're trying to kind of mirror what was done back in the 90s when this playground was being built. So we were able to find a company, they're called Play by Design, and they are somebody that works with the community to do this. I have a presentation I've started to plan. I presented to some of our community members at a different meeting yesterday. It was very well received. I don't want to give too much away because we're giving it away at the August 20th meeting. But what I can tell you is this team of people, they come in, they work with our community. We need several people to volunteer. It's a 3-day build. So it looks like people volunteering 8 hours for 3 days. So whether you can give 1 day, 2 days, or all 3. I've had several community members already reach out about they were a part of the original build. They want to help with the build, but they don't know how much labor, physical labor they could do. So they said, we love to help with waters or breakfast or lunch. So people are already coming together wanting to be a part of this. So as I get more information, that'll come out. I'm going to work with our facilities team members. So that's Tori and Jim Helling, and we're going to work with Play by Design, and then our architects and our builder will all be here at the 20th meeting. So I originally had planned to do it in this room, but because I'm getting people already so excited about it, it was a recommendation of somebody who was at the meeting who said, maybe you need to do this in the auditorium. So I'm hoping to switch gears, probably going to be hosting that meeting in the auditorium on the evening of August 20th. Okay. I think, Jerry, you had a question a few minutes ago. Oh, fundraising, Jermaine asked. So yes, part of what this company can offer is ways to help fundraise. But remember, we already have approved the money for the playground. So that money is there. That money is going to the playground. So any additional funds that people want to donate would just help enhance and make bigger the playground that we can build. Okay. And we'll talk more about that on the 20th. Does anybody have any more questions, though? Because I do have a lot of information. I have some slides about the company itself, but again, we'll share that. Any more specific questions, though, about the playground?
I just wanted to say, because people will probably be hearing this tonight. So there was a question that was asked during our meeting about kids helping. So you have to be 18 or older, I believe, to be able to run the tools. Just so everyone is aware, this, with a community build, we're the ones using the tools. So you have to be 18 or over to help with that part. Just want to make that clear if anybody wants to make like a family day of something.
So they did say that ages 14 to 17 can help be a part of the build. They just can't use any of the tools. So 14 and up can be out. We can put them to work. They can be helping. Anybody under 14, I had a community member yesterday say maybe we could have babysitting on site. So, I mean, this is already taking form of what it could look like, and people are coming up with ideas that we hadn't even thought about. So we're really excited about this, and again, more information to come. I will tell you, we need 75 to 80 volunteers all 3 days. So if people can volunteer all 3, that would be great. Some people might be able to volunteer 2 of the 3, so we would figure that out. But I know we have a lot of staff eager to help. I know we are eager to help as well. So hope to see you there. All right, also coming up is the opening day community partner fair. So new this year, we're hosting On our Superintendent's Conference Day #1, which is August 28th. It's hard to believe it's fast approaching, right? But we're offering local organizations to come in and kind of showcase programs, resources, and opportunities available to support our students and their classrooms. So anybody in the community who thinks that they could somehow support our kids are going to be invited to join us for a staff community fair. Okay, so we're excited about that. And then, of course, later that day, we'll be celebrating out back for the Welcome Back Bash. All right. Also new this year are the color run. So the PTA is sponsoring a color run, September 28th at 10:30. This is going to be also the day that the homecoming week is being kicked off. This is new this year. So Sunday, September 28th, we're kicking off homecoming with a fun community event that's 11 to 2 p.m. right here. This event's going to be different from the Welcome Back Bash is because it's on this side of the building near the playground parking lot and on the soccer fields. Okay, so more to come about that. That'll be after the school year has started. Again, that ends with our Friday Day of Caring and then the homecoming parade and games on the Saturday following. All right.
Natalie, I just have one thing jumping back. I know we talked about the playground, but I know there was some community members that were wondering, like, are we gonna put in a basketball court and other things like that along with the playground or not?
So
'Cause that's
that'll
just a
be.
question to think
yep.
about when the time comes.
So the basketball court, Gaga pit, all of that is a part of that,
Okay.
the playground build. So that is definitely an option. So we would like to feedback for that. So there's definitely enough room to do a half court or something like that. So they certainly know that that's something that we have talked about.
Okay. And one more thing is, when is the first day of school?
The first day of school is September 3rd,
Okay, because I know.
Wednesday. It is
that-
on the calendar.
Okay,
it's
I was
on
gonna
the-
say, it was posted on Facebook, but maybe a parent square
Okay.
hasn't been sent out yet, because not everyone's on Facebook.
Okay,
But
I will send
just
a
to-
parent square ASAP.
Because I know not everyone has got, and I don't know when letters go out for teachers or anything like that yet, but just so parents can prepare. it would be-
So letters actually will be going out, so that information will be there, but I think it's a good idea to send something out. Either myself or the principals will send that out, a reminder that school starts that Wednesday. I believe it's the 3rd, September 3rd. Okay. I know that did come up last week and that was added to the district website calendar. So that first day of school has been added there, but we will do the parent square as well. Anything else? All right. Turning it back over, or now I'm turning it over to Derek for the business office updates.
So tonight, the Board of Education is going to be adopting our tax rates for this upcoming tax season, which begins September 1st. So to start off, we're just looking at the property values that make up our school district. As everybody knows, Richmond got reassessed, so you see a 200, just shy of $203 million increase in property value. Overall, the properties in the district are up $205 million or just shy, or 24.67%. So that does play into our tax calculation, but I do want to also take the opportunity that this does also hurt us in state aid because there is a factor in the state aid calculation that's property wealth per pupil. So as pupil goes up or property wealth goes up and people stay same or goes down, it looks like there's a lot of hundreds of $1,000s of property per pupil. So if whole harmless goes away, this actually kind of hurts us, but something for us to be cognizant about as part of the finance team. Next slide. And then here are our rates for the 25-26 school year in comparison to 24-25. As you can see, Richmond has a large decrease, and that is due to their equalization, the reassessment. So with equalization, that rate for Richmond, that 9.77885 represents the true tax. In comparison to last year's true tax was $10.61, so it's down 83 cents per thousand, or 7.8 cents or 7.8% in true tax. But overall, taxes, those are our tax rates. And then in comparison to when we met in April, we gave conservative estimates. We just wanted to circle back on that one. On average, every tax rate is about 36 cents lower than what we were projecting in April. We had told that when we do these numbers, we try to be conservative. We want to under-promise and over-deliver to the community rather than over-promise and under-deliver. So compared to what we estimated in April, your tax bill will be about 3% lower than if you were using that calculation. And then one last slide. If you know your home's equalization rate, here's the table based off a 200, 300, 400, or $500,000 house. Or if you want, you can just take the number of take the assessed value divided by 1,000, multiply the rate on the previous page to determine what your tax bill will be. They should be hitting homes at the end of this month, and collection starts September 1st. Any questions?
Just one comment.
Sure.
The lake took the brunt of the tax increase. While most people saw some increases and fairly modest, the lake went up substantially. So, and we have a lot of people who own places on the lake that's their second home. So they don't even get to vote on this. But I'm just saying, you know, the lake took probably the brunt of the increase.
And that's a good point. So these numbers actually are pre-star. Those families on the lake don't get star exemption on top of it. So this tax, you'll get a refund or an exemption on your tax bill depending on how you set up with New York State. So this is pre-star tax numbers on the table. Yep. Is there a vote, Jen?
Yeah.
Oh.
I will be looking for a motion to approve the 25-26 tax warrants as presented in the documentation that we received.
I'll move.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's carried. Moving on with the district plan. I would need a motion to approve the Honeoye Central School Pre-K plan for 2025.
I'll move.
Need a second? Any discussion? Jerry?
Yes, while this says it's entitled Honeoye Pre-K Kindergarten Plan 2025, there are several places in it where it uses the term UPK. As far as I know, UPK means universal. And when we get down to the end, it says selection of UPK students via lottery. Now, we've never had to use the lottery before, but if we had more than 36 children apply, we would have to. So where does universal and lottery make any sense? To me, I mean, I would like the U taken out of this plan and just say pre-K, because it's not universal if we have a lottery. And I know most districts do have a lottery, well, when they have that, but I'm against that from the get-go. I'd rather put in but another section and hire another teacher if we had more than 36.
So we would certainly come to the board if that ever were the case, and I hope it were, but we do get grant money for this, and it is the UPK grant. So we can't change the title, then I can look into it, but my understanding is the money that we use to pay for UPK is out of the UPK grant. So we have to show that if we were to have a lottery, this would be our process. We haven't had to use it, but this is what we would do in the event we had more than 36 kids.
Well, on page 1, it says HCS pre-kindergarten plan. It
So-
doesn't say UPK
Yeah,
there.
so we would have to change that and not the other.
Well, let's put it this way. As long as we say UPK in this document, but we have a lottery, I won't be voting for it.
Do you want this tabled for another meeting, or do you want to just go ahead with it?
I guess I'm not 100% sure, Jerry, what your concern is, if you can explain it again.
My concern is with the term universal. I don't want it in this document at all if we're going to have a lottery at any time in the future, if we ever do, because a lottery is not universal. Okay, it by definition will exclude some
Right,
some
I hear what
children.
you're saying. Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
And to tell you the truth, I've never been in favor of a lottery in this program.
Mhm.
Now, again, our district has never even come close to that. But I don't like the idea. If we had 50 kids apply, if we had some big development came in, I hope that we accept all 50 of them.
Mhm.
Okay, that'd be wonderful for our enrollment, but that means spending money, hiring teachers. We have the classrooms, I know that.
Mhm.
So, but I'm in favor of accepting all and no lottery.
Thank you for that clarification.
So Jerry, you want to proceed then?
If it passes, okay, but it won't be with my vote.
Okay.
Unless we take the U out of the 4 or 5 places that it's in. And it's not in the heading. It says HCS pre-kindergarten plan. Right on the top page. So I think there's 3 or 4 places where it says UPK. There's one on page 2. There's one on page 3.
Yep, so this plan has to be submitted and I don't know, I will get back to you at our next meeting
Mhm.
because if we take that out, that might impact the grant money that we've been expecting to use for this coming year. So I'll have to get back to you on that.
Or if you want to table it until there's more members, and I mean, like, there's enough that it could be 4-1 or 5-1, but like I said, if we can't take it out, I just won't be voting
Okay,
in favor, that's all.
got it.
Any other questions or comments? All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Aye.
We only have 6 board members currently because we have a resignation. So when you have one's absent, so we have 1 board member not here. So we only have 3 in agree, and then we have 3 not. So it's a tie.
I don't think that it's a tie. It's 3, 4, and 2 against, and or 1 against, but you need 4 to pass it. Okay,
Right.
so it just doesn't pass. It's not, well, whether it's a tie or like against, it just doesn't pass. So do we want to go ahead then and table this until we have a fuller board? Or until like we can change it? I don't, whichever.
Well, I think you just voted on it. And
Okay,
if it's defeated, then
then we can bring it up again though.
you can. You
Okay.
can. You can discuss it with Mikey and bring it up again.
Let me get some information, the answers to the question you had, and just, I'd like to know more information about the grant money. That's the main
Okay,
thing that I'm concerned about. So if changing this means, you know, that's contingent on the grant money, I'll let you know. We'll add it to our next meeting, which is the August 27th meeting.
When is this due, or when is the grant due?
I
we
don't know
know?
off the top of my head, but I don't believe it's
The grant has already been submitted. This is just supplemental paperwork that we have to upload, but it was due at the end of July.
So there's no deadline to have this passed.
I'm not
Really?
sure if there is.
So we've already uploaded the necessary information, but this will need to be uploaded as well. So we will table it until the 27th. And if it isn't uploaded, I'll need to find out what that means about our grant money. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we have to resubmit it
Can't be tabled.
because it's already been voted down, so. But we can resubmit it as a vote again. We can do that any number of times. Okay. Okay, so we'll just resubmit this at a later time. Same thing as almost.
So we can
table it.
just bring it back, talk to Mikey, we'll bring it back on the 27th.
Natalie, is this something that we write, or is this like the Erie One BOCES things where it's like a,
This is something that we do get an outline of something that we could use, but we tailor it and kind of make it our own.
all right. So then that, how would I say it's carried? 4-2? Defeated, okay. All right, next, moving on to the policy. There was the first read of policy 7317 for students and personal electronic devices. If the board has read through it and agrees to what they have read, we may choose to forego the second read. I would just need a motion to do so. Otherwise, we would just discuss if it's anything you want changed or have questions about.
I'll make the motion to forego the second read.
All right,
I'll
Okay.
second.
all right. Any discussion?
I heard on the news tonight that 20% of New York State school districts haven't submitted a plan as of the deadline. Okay,
So we did submit our
okay.
plan already. I had met with the facility or the policy committee. So if this were not board approved, I would have to go back in and unsubmit. But just
Gotcha.
to meet that deadline, I did get it in.
Gotcha. So we're not one of the 200 districts
No,
that didn't.
no, we are not.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? All right, that's carried. Consent agenda, this would be to approve the minutes from the July 8th meeting and the CSE minutes. Can I get a motion for those?
I'll move.
Can I second?
I'll too.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, that's carried. Moving on to personnel, we have one resignation. Looking for a motion to accept the recommendation from Superintendent Fluke, for the resignation of Cindy Sherman as a Board of Education member effective July 21st, 2025.
I'll move with regret.
And second,
I'll second.
any discussion?
Thank you for your service, Cindy.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that's carried. We have several appointments. Would we like to take these all together? Pretty good? Okay, then we will take all the appointments together. I would be looking for a motion to approve the 25-26 ex officio student board member. We have mentors, we have certified lead evaluators for the APPR certification, the certified lead evaluator for MTP are certified, a cleaner, a bus driver, 25-26 coaches, teacher assistants, and 25-26 secondary extracurricular advisors. Quite a list of people. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
Second,
I'll second.
any discussion? Jerry?
Just a comment. I spoke to one of the parents of the of the hopefully student board member. They're very excited and so is the person too. So it was good to hear.
Anything else? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, that is carried. Moving on to new business, old business, we have an invoice, Capital Region BOCES number 023-26F. I need a motion to approve.
I'll move.
I'll s-
Second,
I'll second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that's carried. Funding for substitute bus driver training. I need a motion to approve the recommendation from Superintendent Fluke for the funding of applicable bus driver training for substitute bus drivers for the 25-26 school year.
I'll move.
Second,
I'll second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that's carried. Obsolete items. Again, there is quite a list from elementary transportation. I'm looking for a motion to declare the following items obsolete upon the recommendation from Superintendent Fluke. Get a motion?
I'll move.
A second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Karen, go ahead.
I'm just curious, when items are discarded, are we looking at thoroughly if there are other places that might be able to use those items if they're still, quote, usable? Sense.
So we have a process in which we identify if it has value. So like the buses are going to be sold on Auctions International, and then because can't really we can only give or enter an agreement if they're a municipality or a not-for-profit. Other than that, everything has to be sold on the open market to determine fair market value. So Auctions International is a very common platform that districts use. And then I know one of the buses is going to be used by the Richmond Fire Department as a test, and then they're going to, it's completely inoperable. We've used it for parts. We couldn't even get it to the scrapyard if we wanted to. When Richmond's done with it, they're going to take it to the scrapyard and give us the scrap money for that bus. So we always try to figure out bring in as much money as possible to the district, but other than that, it's usually recycled or discarded unless we are aware of a not-for-profit or municipality that could use that.
Yes, I was like, looking at the textbooks and that kind of other places that I know, other places that could use that, or are they too outdated to be able to be?
Any other questions or comments? Jerry?
When it comes to textbooks, a Rotary has a program where they take outdated school textbooks and send them to foreign countries. The only exceptions are like US history and things like that. But if that were the case, I mean, like we could box those up and I can contact the Rotarian in charge of that. It's called Books for the World, and it's a nice program. So, I mean, like, that's one thing to do, like with the
It
text.
just seems a shame for it to be discarded if there's someone somewhere that could use it.
Anything else? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's carried. Then we have an amended memorandum of agreement. I'm looking for a motion to approve the HTA amended Smart Start 25-26. Second,
I'll second.
any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Right, that's carried. Capital Improvement Project, we have an invoice from LMC Industrial Contractors Incorporated. I'm looking for a motion to approve that.
I'll do it.
A second,
I'll second.
any discussion?
Is this for the CIP or was this for the air handler for the auditorium? Yeah. I thought it said right on top, Honey Auditorium, emergency AHU replacement.
That would be
Air
the,
handler.
yeah, it's air handler unit is what the
Okay.
AHU stands for.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's carried. Then we have comments from the Board of Education. First, we have super eval. We need to decide if we would like to continue using that or not using that. I'm not sure of everyone's thoughts. Sure, we'll go around. We'll start with Megan.
I'll start. I don't want to continue with super eval. I think that's a cost a lot of money for the amount that we use it throughout the year. That's just my thought. But, so I would say no, not to continue with super eval.
I would agree with Megan, not to continue, even with the aid that we get. We're still looking at over $2,400 a year for an evaluation that we use very minimally. And I was looking around and I feel like that's something we could actually do through Google Forms, kind of like a survey. I started putting stuff in today just to see how it would work, and it looks like we could do something like that and keep it simple and make it more like à la carte to what we want it to be instead of so complicated and time consuming.
I agree due to the lack of use. That was a chunk of change, but I do feel that something should be created. Definitely.
And I feel the same way. I'd rather not use it. I'd rather use something simpler.
I concur.
So then, do you cancel the membership or do I need to, you do that? Okay, all right, then I will leave that to you. Next thing would be, board member replacement. So we need to decide and discuss, so I guess we should discuss and then decide, how we would like to go at this. As you know, I have been in contact with, the lawyer from the school just to make sure we're on the right page. Pricing from Jen to do a special election. I shared all that as information with the board. So again, we'll start with Jermaine this time, I guess, if you have comments and thoughts of what you would like to do. So we can either special elect, we can just appoint, or we can do an application appointment.
I think that we should just appoint. I think that is what we've done historically a few times. I think a special election takes some time, costs some money. I think that doing a application appointment, I think it's I think it's kind of like what we do in a regular, a regular vote. People are applying when they're nominated, and that, I don't think that that's up to us. So I think that we should just pick from a former school board member if possible.
I agree with Jermaine on that. I'd rather appoint somebody. And if we could find a former school board member who's already trained, it'd be for roughly 9 months. I think that would work out fine.
I go back and forth. I'm concerned about appointment. Because I think it's important for the community to have a say in that, and where someone was maybe 10, 15 years ago might not make them appropriate for the board right now. I understand that the financial commitment to the special election, so we also have fiscal responsibility, so that's a concern. So I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. I think appointment is probably the best thing, but I cautiously say that because I am very concerned that us making that judgment might not necessarily be what the community would vote for.
I'm comfortable with just appointing. I know the special election is looking at a cost of at least almost $2,200. And again, that person would still only sit the seat until May. And that seems like a lot of money to, again, ask the community to front. So I'm up for appointing. I'm comfortable with that. With a previous board member, they'd be mandated with the trainings already, and they would be able to slide into the position knowing what we do. I think that's the safest and best move to make.
So I, along with everybody else, I believe that we should appoint, or not everybody, but majority, to appoint someone, that has already served within the past, 5, 10 years. And go over, see who is interested, maybe, I don't know. And that's the application. Okay. So I think just appointing someone, I mean, it's a 9-month seat. Hopefully they're all up to date with everything and they've already covered our classes. Jen, are those good forever? That's what one of my questions was too. Okay, that's what I was gonna ask, that I forgot to ask earlier. So yeah, definitely someone that has already served on the board and appoint, I'd be interested in.
If I could go again, just to be clear, do we need to discuss the application part now? Now that seems that we've agreed on appointment, I don't think that we should have applications. If we have former board members that are willing and are qualified, I don't know that we should be going through an application process. Seems again like we're dragging it out and taking more time than necessary.
No, that's why I said there's 3 choices. You could
Okay.
appoint with the application, or do the special election.
Right,
So,
understood.
Just consensus I got was to appoint and avoid,
Understood.
because even if you do the application appointment, there's still gonna be a fee because you have to post it in the newspaper. So there's still a fee. So if we just appoint, that's $0, which, being financially responsible, like, that's a good way to go.
Fair enough. I just wanted to be clear because I
Oh,
just heard it
sorry.
from that direction, so I wasn't certain. I guess then I have another question.
Sure.
How do we go about deciding who the appointment is if we have? Is that something that we do here and now, or? If we have people that, I mean, for example, we have someone that we know is interested, that is qualified, that is currently in the school system, that was a board member here. Is that someone that, is this when we have this discussion? I don't want to say names clearly.
Executive session? For names?
I don't think it's an executive session.
Yeah.
We're not afforded that protection,
Yeah. Because we're not employees.
and neither would the applicants be.
True. No.
Is this a discussion that we want to have Jim here as well, though, as he's not here?
I submit that we're waiting a whole nother month. And we conduct business without
Right.
folks here all the time.
So I would think then that we would have to nominate, right? Would we nominate a person, and then
See
if
they're
the rest of the
interested.
board
Again,
You
I'm
wanna nominate?
greatly concerned about that, like if a decision is made tonight to appoint someone based on, I'm just concerned about that.
Well, I don't think we could appoint. We would have to know that they are interested and willing to serve. If you have people that you have in mind, they could be talked to. We have a meeting on the 27th. So if somebody was willing and able, we could bring that name to the board on the 27th, and they could start September 17th. I'm not sure if there's one name, two name, I don't know.
And are you looking solely at people who have already served? That's a requirement.
Yes, I think that's the best way a good way to do it. You have somebody they're only gonna be here from the time that they take the seat until the election in May. So it's not,
They would be filling Cindy's spot, and Cindy's spot is up for like
Well-
election. Right, right, but three,
So one school year.
Right.
If they get approved on the 27th, is that something that we have to approve as a board? Or how would that work?
Yes, so you would bring that name to the board, like you do the president and the vice president, you nominate this
reorg.
person.
Okay, so we would nominate someone to fill the board seat,
Correct,
which we could do on August 27th.
correct.
Okay, I just wanted to put that all out there.
When do we suggest that someone, is that now, or is that something we do in private?
You do bring it to the board meeting on the 27th.
On the 27th.
You nominate someone on the 27th that you would like to fill that board seat.
So to be clear, we're having no discussion about it until the 27th, and on the 27th, someone's gonna nominate and we'll make a decision then?
Just like our reorganizational meeting, how we come and do you want to explain it, Tori, or do you want me to?
Oh, no, I
Okay.
get it. I understand it. I'm just making
can-
it clear that we're not gonna have any internal discussion or amongst ourselves.
It's up to you. That's something that like, I guess you would have to think about and kind of go from there. Like who has served? Like, I don't know, because I've only been on the board for 3-4 years.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, no, I'm just
So,
trying to
like, that's
understand,
something
I'm
that
just trying to
we'll
understand the
look at.
procedure. I'm just trying to understand the protocol because we can't call and talk amongst ourselves about it. So at some point, we have to be like, I like person A, but other people may have an opinion about person A, or someone else may have person B. I'm saying, when does that?
So I believe you could discuss right now to say, you are interested in this person, Jerry's interested in this person.
Okay.
And then you reach out to those people to see if they are even interested in serving for those few months. And then, just like the president and the vice president, the people would be nominated, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3, and then the board would vote, and then the majority of the votes from the board members, that person would get the seat. But you can say your interest now, say, this is the person I'm interested in. Make sure that then you will contact that person to see if they're interested in serving.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Then, that being said, I'm interested in Patrick Freevold. He was a board member. He is an alumni. I've already reached out to him. He said he was interested. He is currently a teacher in Naples. He has already completed certifications. He would hit the ground running. He is not interested in rerunning. He is willing if he is the best candidate.
Do you know when he served and for how long? Like how long ago? I'm just interested because we haven't.
I served with him.
Okay,
It was probably at least 10 years ago, maybe even more. He was on the board for about 6 years, for 2 terms.
Okay.
When he was on the board, he was an excellent board member. He's got a really sharp mind. He speaks his mind even more than I do. No, he was a valuable board member then. He's a physics teacher down in Naples. But he and his twin brother graduated, oh gosh,
1994 with me.
okay, well, there you go, oh gosh.
I can get those exact dates.
okay. I was just curious because
I just don't know off the top of my head.
So that's not someone that I would know. So I was
Right.
just curious.
Right, but in my opinion, he'd make but an excellent board member. He asks very good questions. He's got a very acute mind, and he's very pro Honeoye Central School District. When he was on the board, he was a really good cheerleader for the district. Okay.
And I would be interested in asking Sandy Hubble. I have spoken with her about the potential of returning, if she would ever even think about it, and she said yes. So she is who I would be interested in as well. Sandy Hubble. Recent board member.
Within the past 5 years, 3 years too.
I guess I have another question then. If we have 2 people, do we have a criteria that we are going by? Do we have anything, or was it just it's gonna come down to whoever everyone personally feels like? In other words, are we looking for the best candidate, or is this is who I want sort of thing?
I think the best candidate who you think would serve the community the best, right?
So personal,
we're gonna have to
so
vote
personal
on it.
opinion then?
So because we're gonna have to vote on it.
Oh, right, right. So we're leaving it to personal opinion then.
Well, I don't,
Otherwise, I think you turn it back into the application
Again,
process.
Again, oh, absolutely. Let me maybe misrepresented. What I'm saying is we have two people that we would like to be considered for the position. those two people, out of those two people, we want to find the best candidate. Internally, we have our own ideas about who the best candidate would be. We'd like to see someone, I believe Karen said, at least within the last 10 years or 15 years. So that might automatically exclude Patrick. So I'm just wondering if there's any general criteria that we are basing it on, or if we're just kind of going off our own gut feeling. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I think that it would be like, if we had at a reorg meeting where two different people got nominated for president, like that's what happened the first year I was on the board. And then it was just whoever had the most votes amongst the board members. So is that
Understood.
answer?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
just want to make sure. Okay. So we can proceed with that August 27th. Okay. And then I also have on here to discuss retreat dates. Jen sent some out, they didn't work. Mr. Jerry Passer said that he would give up his plans with his wife for their anniversary to be here with all of us instead. And I said, I don't think you don't have to do that, Jerry.
But at the same time, though, it's a date that everybody else was available. And I know Megan, with your new job, has a lot of dates she can't do. So, I mean, my wife and I talked to Marilyn before I did this, but we're fine with that. So if the August 19th date works for everybody else, that's fine.
Is everybody else still good for the 19th? Is it?
I just have to check. I have two kids now that are having surgery, literally that were scheduled. So I just have to check my calendar now. It was scheduled yesterday and today, but I think it's okay.
Would a Saturday morning work? Is that something that we could? Oh, never mind.
It's a lot to ask.
Okay.
Natalie to-
No, I forgot that they were involved as well.
Karen, when's the soonest you can let you know by?
Tonight?
Okay. So we'll tentatively, it's gonna be the 19th. So then we'll have two events in a row. The 19th and the 20th. I'll just get a room here. Okay. Yes, so just let me know, and then if for some reason she can't, we will go back to the drawing board again. But is that okay? Yes, I'll let you know. Okay. Yes, please. Okay. Then at some point, later on in September, we'll need to look at a workshop, because that's when we'll do our goals and everything. So probably send out a sign-up sheet for after the other dates that you sent out. September, early October, I would say, just along, because it's our goals. It's not like a pressing. Does anybody have anything else that they would like to add or? Okay.
Whoops.
Oh,
I
sorry.
just have one question.
Yeah.
I thought the August 27th meeting had a question mark on it, like we might or might not have it.
Yes, that was true. We weren't gonna have it if we didn't have a need.
Right.
But there are some needs for a couple appointments.
Okay.
So we are gonna be holding that. It'll be brief, but there is a need to have that.
If I could elaborate, we had art teacher interviews. They went very well. We did offer the position to somebody, but she received a full-time job. So back to the drawing board for art. So we have to have that meeting on the 27th in hopes of getting somebody for then.
Okay. Anything else anybody has? All right, then there's information for the board. Do we need to go into executive session for anything? Okay, then I would be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
And a second? All in favor? Aye. All right, motion is adjourned, or meeting's adjourned. Motion is not adjourned. Thank you.